Getty general manager Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, left, and head coach Kevin O'Connell, right, of the Minnesota Vikings. The course of the Minnesota Vikings franchise over the next decade may well be determined by which QB they land in the coming NFL draft, or if they fail to land one at all. As such, the process behind evaluating the potential options and what it will take in terms of cost to procure them is paramount not just to the team's future as a contender, but to the job security of its leaders, General Manager Kwesi Adofo-Mensah and head coach Kevin O'Connell. The context around the monumental decision the Vikings face makes their decision to approach quarterback scouting in a unique and novel fashion this offseason all the more interesting. Albert Breer of Sports Illustrated on Monday, April 8, laid out how Minnesota is doing things differently this offseason and why their new process is admirable and could forge a new path for pre-draft QB evaluation in the NFL. You might have noticed, over the past couple of weeks, that Vikings coach Kevin O'Connell and GM Kwesi Adofo-Mensah were absent from the big quarterback pro days, which seemed to fly in the face of the aggressive approach they took to position themselves for a trade-up after the move with the Houston Texans in mid-March. The reality? The Vikings were just allocating resources in a different way. Rather than go to the cattle calls that pro days often become, Minnesota dispatched quarterbacks coaches Josh McCown and Grant Adinsky to those, and then rolled out a larger group for a 3-day whirlwind tour workout quarterbacks privately. The itinerary included stops in Chapel Hill to meet Drake May, Ann Arbor to get with J.J. McCarthy, Seattle to put Michael Penix through the paces and Eugene to see Bo Nix. The result for the Vikings brass was a more in-depth and specific look at each player and his fit with what the team hopes to do with a passing attack that includes major talents in wide receivers Justin Jefferson and Jordan Edison, as well as tight end T.J. Hockenson. In each case, the Minnesota contingent had extensive meeting time with the quarterbacks before taking them out on the field. The field work included the coaches and players applying what had been taught in the classroom, and then the ability to put what they could explain between the lines. In the end, you figure it gave the Vikings a really good picture of what each guy might look like in Minnesota's offense, and the team's culture, with the officials on the ground knowing that they still had the ability to bring the players to Minneapolis for 30 visits in their back pockets if they needed to know more. Those haven't been scheduled yet, but could be. The Vikings already held the no.